Hey guys, it's Optimus Primal. We're back with another video, and today we are bringing you our first of all 4 Transformers movies. We're going to be doing our reviews for them. We're going to review them before Transformers The Last Night comes out. And we're starting with, obviously, the first 2007 Transformers movie. So we're, like I said, we are marathoning them.
Lucky us.
Not everybody really likes the Transformers movies. Some of them have become big-time Transformers fans from the film franchise. For myself, I think as a movie in and of itself, you know, for bringing Transformers into a completely different, you know, realm, you know, bringing it to the box office for the first time back in 2007. I mean, we're talking now, it's a 10-year-old film,
Yeah.
Which it's kind of funny to think, because as you watch it, you start to see older technology. You know, at the time, George W. Bush was president, and, you know, different people, you know, had different opinions and outlooks on things. I mean, just look at the way that they had eBay.
Yeah.
Looks so different. And so the cultural impact, I think, changed Transformers as a whole. And I think it was really worth, you know, the investment. I think some of the things that they executed are left to be desired. You know, after watching it again, it brought back some memories, but at the same time, it made me like just as angry as I was back in 2007. You know, just from rewatching it again, because I have, you know, I've watched G1 over and over and over again, but, you know, rewatching the Bay films, you know, again, I mean, usually I just skip over, you know, just to watch the action sequences, and even that, it's like, it's kind of difficult because the action sequences in the movie really close. Yeah, I mean, it's, imagine just like you just see everybody fighting, you know, one-on-one, and you don't see you don't see
what's going on.
Exactly.
You can't see who's fighting who, what are they using, what's going on, why is there all of a sudden bright lights, why did it go from day to night. It's a frustrating endeavor to watch these movies again.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same time though. I mean, you think about it like now, how would you have brought Transformers to the big screen? You know,
I don't know.
You know, like that's the thing you have to think about that, because
They try to make them look like G1 since that's what everyone's used to, but I don't know.
I would have liked to seen closer to G1, at least as far as some of the robot designs.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I understand updating things. Like, all right, I get it. Like, Michael Bay didn't want a Volkswagen Beetle to be Bumblebee, so he chose a Camaro.
And he did reference the Volkswagen Bug, as you saw in one of the scenes, which was a nice throwback. There were some good throwbacks.
But at the same time, you know, like, some of the vehicle choices, were, you know, in some ways are okay, but they could have still made the robots look, or at least resemble, their G1 selves. I mean, just think about, like, Ironhide. You know, okay, granted, he's a pretty cool looking vehicle, and I didn't mind, like, the big guns on his arms, but his head should have at least had some of the... However, I think the head, like, his head design was just, like, it was weird. You know,
I
like,
felt like all the head designs were
all of their
strange.
faces were weird.
Yeah, there was too many parts, too many just random seeming parts to the bots and the cons. Like,
you know, Frenzy just looked like a mangled piece of metal. Megatron looked like a mangled piece of metal. I mean, some of the way that the parts, like the Autobots themselves, at least you can tell what car part was where. You couldn't tell.
I guess I didn't look at that too much. There were too many other glaring issues that I found. But yeah, I agree that they were...
You couldn't tell what they were transforming into, like Frenzy, which
Yeah.
is like the little boombox, you know, which ticked a lot of people off because it wasn't Soundwave, is, you know, he's this mangled metal-looking bot, and then yet all of a sudden he has the shell parts of a boombox.
Yeah.
And it just
really
doesn't make sense.
Right. No.
You know, even some of like the way from vehicle to robot, like I remember Michael Bay saying, "Oh, every single part is important and it has to go somewhere," and so Optimus has 10,000 pieces like in the computer when they actually made him. I mean, I remember that. I mean, as far as Optimus's design, Optimus looks like Optimus.
Yeah, he's like the only one.
Bumblebee at least is yellow. And everybody complained that like what he looked like, because he doesn't have all the things that make him look like Bumblebee. Yeah. But instead, he
had wings. I'll give them that. They gave him his.
Well, that wasn't part of G1. Like that was more of Hot Rods. They were Prowl's thing.
But he looked like he had wings, which probably why they got the name Bumblebee from. At least I
guess maybe when they think of the design.
At least as a Camaro he did. I thought that was, for lack of a better word, cute.
I also, one of the things that kind of like annoyed me was the fact that they changed how they become a vehicle. In the movie, there's a lot of like
really strange...
they just scan it and all of a sudden they become it. And that kind of like, I think that defeats the purpose of them being able to transform, because like you can change your alternate mode at will. Like you can change, like, oh, I'm a truck, well tomorrow I'll be a car. Like, because a lot of time, like in the original series, like when the ship crashed on Earth, it was the ship that rebuilt them into their alternate mode. And here they just scan it and then boom, they're it. And Bumblebee's like, you know what, I'm tired of being an old Camaro, I'm going to scan the prototype Camaro, and I'm going to be the 2007 prototype Camaro.
Oh,
and
see, that part of it I didn't mind too much.
I guess because like you don't mind the upgrade, and I get it.
It's...
but there was the fact that like here he can just upgrade whenever he wants. Like Megatron could have taken an Earth mode if he wanted to, and instead he looked like mangled metal because he doesn't want to take an Earth mode, and that ticked a lot of people off too because he can fly. I didn't mind him turning into a Cybertronian jet. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he should have turned into a gun or should have turned into a tank. I mean, but they had a Decepticon tank.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Decepticons, they chose like random, oddball, different Decepticons.
Yeah.
Like they just chose, hey, this is a cool vehicle. It's a military vehicle with a shovel. Hey, this is a cop car. Let's choose a tank. Let's choose a jet. I mean, okay, the jet will be Starscream. And Starscream's leader of the Decepticons until Megatron comes back. And then you had Blackout, which was the helicopter. And then Frenzy was this little mangled thing. And then you had Scorponok, was the scorpion that deployed. He jumped out of the back of Blackout, in the base attack. Which I guess that was kind of like their way of doing Soundwave in a way. Like at least when the first film, when they actually did it, it was they made it that it was, instead of Soundwave being a cassette player that turns into a full-size robot that can let out a bunch of tapes, the big ones can carry the smaller ones. I guess that worked, but I mean, when you really think about it, I think the choice of Decepticons wasn't bad. I think the problem is that they didn't have any personality. They still spoke Cybertronian.
Yeah.
Which I didn't mind them speaking Cybertronian, initially, but once they come to Earth, that is kind of annoying.
Earth, they hated people. So
yeah. But Megatron spoke perfect English as soon as he woke up. I am Megatron. And he says it like 6 times. He comes down like in jet mode, and he's like, I am Megatron. Like, he breaks out of the ice. I am Megatron. And it's like, he's so proud of the fact that he's Megatron.
Well, it's I'm Batman. It's that whole thing. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know what Batman's thing is, but
I didn't like you wouldn't really want to talk about like a big complaint for a design. Not just Megatron, Starscream. Starscream looked like a big monkey ape chicken. Like he had a chicken face. He had like monkey arms and like tiny legs.
Oversized upper body and no lower body.
Yeah.
And his personality did not fit the Starscream that everybody knows and loves.
Yeah, he was too busy.
Very, very, just, I mean, he had no personality. He was boring, and he just kind of got kicked around by Megatron and was like, alright, that's supposed to be Shockwave, Soundwave, not Starscream. Starscream
But they never
was,
got slapped around. I mean, Megatron did slap around Starscream, but Starscream was more...
that's not what I mean. I mean...
There was none of, like, there was no...
The banter,
yeah.
the quick-wittedness, the just constantly trying to overthrow Megatron. That's who he is, and he was not that at all. He was just boring. He was just plain, and...
It was only cool because he was an F-22. You know?
And it was like, oh, Starscream, yay, Starscream's here. But then you get to him and you're like, oh, you're boring.
Mm-hmm. And I think that it almost felt like the way that the characters were, they assumed that fans of Transformers were going to see it, so they would know about it. Like, they would know who everyone is. Like, you're not going to know who Starscream is. I mean, if you're a person coming into Transformers for the first time, you're not going to know who these characters are. To you, it's just going to be like, oh, they are who they are. Okay, that's it. Like, all right. And, some of them don't even get that much personality. And I understand, like, for the first movie, focusing on the humans was important only because it's the humans reacting to Transformers coming to Earth. And that made sense. For a sequel, there should be more robots, but more robot interaction. And when we get to Revenge of the Fallen, that's going to be something to...
This was bad enough. I'm sorry. The human interaction was awkward and obnoxious, ridiculous. They come up with things...
Yeah, she doesn't like it either. She doesn't like it either.
There's just no rhyme or reason. It's all... I just was getting angry. And I had so many questions that just... So many things that didn't make sense.
Take a look at this. She wrote down 6 pages of notes.
And we haven't gone over any of it.
Yeah, we are just going over our complaints about the movie. Like, we're just that, like, digging into all of the things and just...
I did very much nitpick, though. Because, like, why does it become day to night so quickly? What is Sam's problem? Why is he so obnoxious?
Why does he have to say no, 100 million times?
Alright, now you're getting annoying. Like, the human interaction, it's like they took robots that are not even like the robots of the movie, just robots, and like put a personality into these people, and it was like they didn't understand humans at all. Like, who talks like that? Who interacts like that? I don't know. It's just, I had so many issues with humans. I had so many, like, just the different characters. I wanted to throw something at so many of them. It is brutal.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the story is concerned, I mean, trying to, like, bring Transformers... the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how could they have done this movie different? How could they have introduced Transformers to mainstream? Yeah, write a better script. Even and
understand human interaction.
Yeah.
And even do you think that through properly, you could probably think through how humans would react to robots. I mean, I personally would be excited to meet a robot. If Transformers was real, that would be great. It would be, I don't know. It just, I feel like people in real life would react so much differently than they did. Just in general.
Yeah. From the in the police station. They're in the police station and they're,
the cop is awkward.
The cop is awkward. He's like, "You're looking at my piece," and mind you, it's 2007, so obviously they want to be relevant, so they want to say 50 Cent and then like the everything
everybody was awkward. The only one that wasn't awkward was Rachel Taylor's character and maybe Anthony Anderson, but even his family had strange interactions.
They were funny.
They were funny, yeah. And I mean, John Turturro was funny, but awkward, strange.
I loved him. I love John Turturro.
Yeah.
His cat. You know what it is? Because I really enjoyed him in Big Lebowski, and so
but that was so.
Yeah.
Totally
and so,
different.
like, he's... Yeah. Yeah. John Turturro's character was I liked him, like, every bit of him, because, you know, he was being awkward, but at the same time, but that's who he is, you know.
Well, that's his character that he's typecast into. We don't know if he's actually awkward in real life.
I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Like, I thought Megan Fox was, like, you know, there were moments where she, like,
Wasted.
wanted to be good in the film.
They tried to make her smart, but she was good with cars. But again, then they just go to, like, oh, look, she has a body and she's good looking. Like, that shouldn't be... That was literally her only point in the movie, was to be somebody to stare at and somebody for Sam to get with, and it was just, again, awkward. Like, her character just seemed somewhat pointless to me. Like, at the end, she helped drive Bumblebee around because she could drive backwards. Who knew?
Yeah. Well, we find out that she's actually a grease monkey because of her dad.
Which I get that, but
at the same time, and she's brave, and she's, like, trying to be a powerful girl. Yeah, you said it. Now, going back, going to the actual plot. I mean, it's
very full of holes.
Yeah.
They just connect dots too quickly, with no real rhyme or reason in between them. Like, Rachel Taylor's character was so quick to go, maybe this has something to do with a DNA-based organism. Where did that come from? How did you come to that conclusion? There was nothing pointing her in that direction. She just came to it on her own with no real background. Which obviously, I mean, great, you're correct, and I get you're supposed to be smart, but, like, there should have been some sort of reason she came to that. I don't. There's a lot to me, there was a lot in the plot that
just didn't make sense, or, you know, you had to, if you didn't watch it and know who the characters were, you were going to be confused.
Yeah.
I thought the action sequences were too in your face. Every single, like, fight, like, they're rolling around, they're you know, you just
random slow motion for no reason at all.
One of the slow motions that I remember we were talking about was, like, when Megan Fox and you know,
the
Sam,
sun's, like, right in her face,
and it's
so
right
beautiful.
after Starscream blasts Bumblebee.
Yeah.
You know, from in jet mode, and, you know, they're all on the ground, and it's all slow mo for no reason. And they're like, then they do the hand across the ground, and
hair blows in the wind.
And it was ridiculous. I mean, I felt like we didn't know who the Transformers were by the end of it. We knew who Optimus Prime was. We knew who Bumblebee was.
Yeah.
And then it was the rest of the guys. And then it was all Jazz.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. We learned a little bit about Jazz. I mean, Ironhide was trigger happy. They all seem to dislike humans, but I guess they didn't have enough.
Bumblebee's voice box.
Yeah, they didn't, I guess, have enough interaction to really care about humans. But then, why did Optimus care so much, and the rest of them didn't? Like, you know, we don't kill humans. When did they have that conversation?
I know.
And then, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say that, like, the other thing I had a problem with was, like, that they came to Earth in, like, space modes.
Space balls.
Like space meteors. Like they just come to Earth that way, and
but they're supposed to hide. They're hiding.
Right. And I mean, and they should have come in a ship.
Hiding in plain sight. Nobody knows that they're not supposed to know. Meanwhile, thousands of people saw them fighting Decepticons in Times Square. There's a square. This giant city they're fighting, but nobody's supposed to know. Another plot hole. I get they've covered up, but it just, people are gonna go, oh, the government said it didn't really happen. I saw it, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I'm okay
and, like,
with that.
Everybody in that city is paid off or something.
I mean, like, there's dead people. Obviously, like, how did your friend die? Oh, I don't know. I saw them getting crushed by a Decepticon, but I don't know how he died because they that was another plot hole to me that just kind of made me mad. Like,
that was something that ticked you off. Remember when Jazz dies, right? Like, as soon as he gets ripped apart, and then right after that scene, like, you know, Josh Duhamel's character goes,
"Oh yeah, they're trying to kill Megatron. Megatron is on this building, rips Jazz apart like he's made of bread, and then 2 seconds later, Josh Duhamel's character goes, 'You just can't kill these guys.'" What just happened? They didn't just pet him. Jazz is dead. Clearly, you can kill them. And then another thing that made me mad was he all of a sudden says later in a little few minutes, like maybe in that same scene or next scene, or maybe two, whatever, close
under
by,
their armor.
There's a weakness under their armor.
Like, they knew about the saber rounds. They were able to like kill them with the saber rounds.
Their armor is the same as the rest of their body. They're made of metal. So how is the metal in their armor different from the metal in their body?
Yeah, it was like they didn't know. How did they know all this? Like all going in, it was just kind of like it was just. Convenient.
They're made of metal. Their armor's made of metal. How is one metal? I mean, what is one made of, like platinum, and the other's made of, I don't know, tungsten, whatever. I don't know. I can't think of metals right now. But
when we get to the fourth film as Transformers,
Scorponok, mention something about how he is like it gets melted at a certain point. Like they mention a certain metal, and they just throw these random facts that like a normal person would not know.
There were a lot of plot holes. There were a lot of things that were messed up. But I mean, we're picking it apart. You know, we're picking apart all the different little plot holes in the film. The good for what it did was that it brought Transformers to mainstream.
Right.
For the classic Transformers fan, like myself, and I had you watch G1 way before the 2007 movie come out. At the end of the day, like I think it brought Transformers to a different level now. You know, I mean, now 10 years later, thinking about it, like the amount of money that it made, and it brought Transformers to mainstream. It brought brand new fans to the franchise.
Right.
It brought
and people got to see. I'm sure people went
Optimus
back
versus Megatron.
Looked up G1 and G2 and Beast Wars and all of the success. And
there are a lot of things that this movie actually brought differently to future Transformers series. I mean, Megatron in both Transformers Prime and Transformers Animated clearly have both G1 and the movie like mixed. You know, granted, I can't stand like those weird like claw fingers that Megatron has that don't even look like hands. Like, how is it Optimus and Bumblebee and all of them have hands, like regular robot hands, and then Megatron has like these weird like digital claw things? It doesn't make any sense. But the claw. What was that? Was that Liar Liar?
The claw will save us. It's Toy Story.
Oh, that's Toy Story. Well, Toy Story and then the claw from Toy Story.
We're clearly fans of like
everything.
Staying around with us long enough, and you will get random movie quotes, songs,
and everything else.
Yeah.
So, bringing this to a close, though, everything that we've said, nitpicking it aside, I think the movie did a lot of things good. I think it did a lot of things bad. I think of all of the Transformers movies, this one I feel was the most like complete, so to speak, like for a beginner going into it for the mainstream. But it's not the best movie like that they could have made. They could have done so many things better. And I think a lot, like if you're a person who like watched G1 and then go and watch the 2007 movie, you're gonna be mad. If you watch the 2007 movie and then go back and watch G1 or read the G1 comics, you're gonna be.
You can go either way.
You can go either way. Like if it's like the first time.
If you loved the movie and it was like your favorite movie ever, then maybe you won't like G1. It's questionable, you know.
She doesn't like it.
Right now, she doesn't like it. No. Just kidding. She likes a lot of things.
So, I hope you've enjoyed our little movie review. We're going to obviously stay tuned because the rest of the Transformers movies are coming, and then we're going to do our review for Transformers The Last Night after it opens next week. So, as always, guys, until next time.